Kalina, look at me. That one.
So there's two projects that I made. There's Manic, the documentary, which is a feature-length documentary, linear, traditional, and it chronicles my struggle to make sense of the legacy of mental illness, wreaking havoc over my siblings' lives. But convinced that my father holds a key piece to the puzzle, I set out on a journey to try to find the truth about him, and I discover a man known alternately as a cult leader, a scam artist, and a father of 15 children.
Dad was larger than life.
His mission was to bring together a group of people.
He said, I'm building this temple. He called it a temple.
I looked him in the eye and I said, is he Jesus?
I heard people call him Sean, Daniel, George.
I knew that archival would really be key because I would be exploring also my father's story, which everything happened in the past. My father wasn't here anymore, so to try to give him a sense of presence, we used a lot of his archival recordings of his voice to really sort of give him that presence. But then what was amazing about the archives is as I was meeting characters who knew my father, every person sort of gave me a piece of the puzzle and was giving me photographic archives or VHS archives of my own life when I was a child. So I was also discovering all sorts of things through each of these characters, and they were kind of becoming collaborators in the filmmaking process because they were giving me these really important pieces. But the archival came to hold a really important place in the film because it's really the material that bridges the two narratives, because there's the investigation to try to understand who my father was, and then there's my attempts to understand the mood disorder that my siblings are living with. Is everything okay down here?
What does it look like?
Okay, whoa.
Mon frère, il commençait à lancer des knives. Je pense qu'il est, he's delusional. My brother needs help.
This archival material that bridges the two, that helps us understand how the past is still influencing the present. For me to help you, you have to tell me what's going on in your mind.
It's my destiny, it's my mission, I'm an angel. These galaxies, these ethers, the volcano, it's in my way.
Across the years, I will walk with you. And when our time on earth is finished, and on heaven too, I will take your hands.
So initially that's how sort of my journey started. But I wanted to look more closely into my siblings' disorder. And as I was shooting the documentary film, I was a little bit frustrated because I was always trying to look at their condition from inside, but I was always outside, trying to imagine what it was like for them. But what if I could experiment with a medium that would allow the viewer to be inside of my siblings' world? So virtual reality became really interesting for that. So that's how ManicVR sort of came to exist, and ManicVR explores my siblings' journey through the world of bipolar disorder through a series of voicemails that they left me on my answering machine.
The madness and love, the crazy love. This is what this is.
I had a magical belief that just like Jesus, I had supernatural powers. God had a plan for me.
Everything that has ever been is within us. Each soul can be free. Isn't that enough to just be alive?
It's very poetic. I was visited by all these spirits. That was strange. It's like if half of it is true and half of it is in my mind. the world becomes a scary place.
It was really key to have people who knew how to create this fabric, right? Because we had amazing creative coders who were able to, based on sort of the mood boards that we created or the vision that we had, they were able to go into the digital world and make it happen. But it was quite a process because we first had sort of a prototype based on some initial ideas that we had, and we started seeing that that really wasn't working out. So then we had to sort of go back and reassess. And so they were a really strong force in really trying to bring the vision alive, but really working with bipolar disorder and what's the best way to represent it. So we had to do like iterations in order to find the right balance. And then interactivity. How do you create an interactivity that doesn't distract from the narrative, right? Because you have the voices. It's an overwhelming experience. The visuals are changing. The voices are speaking. How do you build an interactive design that feeds into the story and that doesn't take away? So that was a huge challenge. So I was really lucky to have great collaborators. We could work together to balance all of that out.